Donald Trump posted, "I can't stand Jessica Tarlov of the Five, a real loser!" Exclamation point DJT. Donald Trump was absolutely raging in public over Fox host Jessica Tarlov, and despite state regime media, aka Fox, doing everything it can to cover up for Donald Trump's Epstein connections, Donald Trump has to attack her, a powerful female, crushing it on the Fox shoutout.
Fox News stood by Trump through Epstein rumors and trade wars. So why did a kind word about an immigrant hero send him into a tailspin? This bizarre meltdown reveals the astonishing priorities hiding behind the polished broadcasts. Curious? Let's dive into the absurd contrast. Before we move on, I would like you to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Imagine a world where praising a hero isn't just ignored, but treated like a criminal act. Now flip it, where scandals and lies are applauded like they're Pulitzer-worthy.
Oh, and then Donald Trump raged and said, "Everybody's saying that I was solely responsible for firing Stephen Colbert from CBS Late Night. That is not true. The reason he was fired was a pure lack of talent. Colbert renegotiated his contract in 2023, and then you and your FCC bullied CBS into a settlement with you, and you're using the federal government to attack comedians, and it's utterly freaking pathetic." Jimmy Kimmel, and then a weak and very insecure Jimmy Fallon. "The only real question is who will go first. Showbiz and television is very simple business."
Welcome to Trump's playbook, where Jessica Tarlov found herself squarely in the middle of his ego tornado. On a Fox News panel, she dared to highlight the bravery of an immigrant police officer who risked everything to protect his community. You'd think this would be a moment of unity, right? A feel-good story, maybe even a rare nod to the sacrifices of immigrants. Instead, it became the trigger for yet another Trump tantrum. Trump's reaction was, well, let's call it predictable in the least inspiring way. Instead of acknowledging the story or, staying quiet for once, he decided to hop online and attack Tarlov, calling her a real loser. He didn't even bother with subtleties. Apparently, praising a hard-working immigrant amounted to some sort of personal humiliation for him. And where was Fox News during this? Silent. That same network, which has devoted years to defending Trump during some of the most questionable stories, hey, remember the Epstein connections? Suddenly had nothing to say when Decency made an awkward cameo on their segment.
Donald Trump posted that after Jessica called the immigrant cop who got killed by an American citizen at the mass shooting in Manhattan. She called him a hero.
Trump knows how weak the Europeans are, and he squeezed $1 trillion out of them. Trump's imposing his will on the world and making other countries invest here after decades of American companies investing over there.
And that led to Donald Trump posting that. That was the segment that then Donald Trump made that post.
It's almost like they didn't know how to handle kindness on air. Now, Fox News has always been Trump's unofficial hype machine, rewriting stories to fit his preferred script. Take the EU trade deal debacle as an example. When Trump's trade negotiations with the European Union flopped, Fox presented it like he'd brokered some historic, game-changing deal. The truth? There was no deal. But facts aren't the point for Trump, and by extension, they're not the point for Fox News. Their role is to amplify his ego, not challenge it. That's why seeing them awkwardly squirm in silence during this Tarlov moment was so bizarre. For once, they weren't quick to rush in and shield him with a new batch of alternative facts. Here's where it gets ironic, though. Jessica Tarlov's simple act of praising someone for their bravery, a moment of human kindness, created a controversy louder than allegations about Epstein ever did. Let that sink in for a second. Trump, a man who skated through scandals involving hush money, classified documents, and connections to shady characters.
What Jessica Tarlov said that led to Donald Trump raging against her and attacking her publicly and spending his time doing that.
I'm completely devastated and heartbroken by this. It's, where I grew up. I know people who know both of the female victims, Julia Hyman and Wesley LePatner, who seem like incredible people. And this is the news that they get on a phone call. What a hero. I didn't know, and I still don't know much about the second officer, but Officer Islam, hearing that last night, that he has 2 kids and an 8-month pregnant wife.
Got more worked up because someone called an immigrant a hero. It says a lot about where his priorities lie and what kind of values he expects his supporters to get behind. This whole episode makes you wonder, why is kindness such a threat to Trump? Could it be that highlighting someone else's story, even just for a moment, distracts from his relentless need for attention? Or maybe it's because kindness doesn't fit into his brand of politics, which thrives on division and suspicion. Whatever the reason, it's pretty wild that he sees human decency as a threat. And while we're talking about threats, let's not forget Fox's role here. Their loyalty to Trump is so unshakable that even when he looks ridiculous, they fall in line. Sure, they can ignore or downplay massive scandals, but what they really can't handle is sincerity. What happens when a news network stops being a source of journalism and starts acting like the PR department of one person? Fox News shows us, time and time again, with its full-time commitment to reshaping Donald Trump into some kind of unstoppable cultural force. Forget policies, forget results. Fox's coverage spends more time glorifying Trump's golf swing and fictional dad strength than addressing anything meaningful. It's not news anymore. It's a bizarre tribute concert. Take Jesse Waters' infamous Rules for Men, which Fox presented as the pinnacle of modern masculinity, supposedly inspired by Trump himself. These so-called rules included gems like never drink soup in public and don't wave with both hands. Yes, you heard that right. Somehow, avoiding gazpacho in public is the hallmark of a strong man, according to Waters. But what makes this even funnier, or sadder, depending on how you look at it, is how completely out of sync these tips are with Trump's actual behavior. Waters also preaches that men should control their emotions, and yet Trump is out here rage posting in all caps on Truth Social like a middle schooler who just lost an Xbox game. All this macho framing falls apart when you remember the infamous stories of Trump throwing plates at the wall because someone dared to fact-check him. One critic online summed it up perfectly. At Jesse B. Waters must have missed the all-caps meltdowns, the table-pounding depositions, and the tantrums over toilets. If that's stoicism, I'm the Queen of England. Fox's obsession with building Trump's image goes deeper than Waters' bizarre man rules. They've spent years turning his volatile behavior into something worth applauding. Despite his emotional outbursts, the network cherry-picks moments to frame him as a stoic, powerful figure, like a superhero who just happens to hang out at Mar-a-Lago. And the emotional meltdowns? They're erased from the narrative, even though Trump's history of losing it on the spot is part of public record. You'd think the tantrum over toilets story alone would give them pause, but no, the show must go on. Of course, this focus on image comes with its own form of entertainment value. Fox isn't just selling politics. They're selling a carefully crafted reality show with Trump as the star. This was on full display when Diego Luna, the actor who played Cassian Andor in Rogue One, went on Jimmy Kimmel Live and mocked Trump's immigration policies. Luna joked about building walls out of tacos and turned Trump's rhetoric into a punchline. Fox News' reaction? Meltdown. Instead of addressing the valid criticisms underlying the joke, they went out of their way to defend Trump's image, treating lighthearted comedy as a vicious attack. But that's the thing. If there's one thing Fox won't tolerate, it's any crack in the Trump mythology they've worked so hard to build. That leads us to what some have called the Taco Man America problem, a dynamic that makes it nearly impossible to figure out if Fox News is being serious or unintentionally parodying itself. One minute, they're hyping Trump's masculinity by showing video loops of his golf swing, and the next, they're deciding that a comedian's harmless remark is worth an entire outrage cycle. They've blurred the line between news and entertainment so thoroughly that sometimes it feels like we're watching a satire of a news network instead of the real thing. Meanwhile, the actual issues, the things impacting voters' lives, get buried under this avalanche of spectacle and distraction. What's even more ridiculous is how Fox continues to fashion Trump into this larger-than-life character while completely ignoring anything that doesn't fit the script. We've all seen how they avoid coverage of his legal battles or his erratic behavior unless they can spin it into a moment of victimhood. Their loyalty runs so deep that even his nonsense posts, like calling someone a loser for no apparent reason, are either ignored or justified to keep the image intact. And it works. Fox keeps its viewers hooked on a storyline where Trump can do no wrong, and the villains are always somewhere else. Often immigrants, political opponents, or comedians who make the mistake of laughing at him. Fox News hasn't just abandoned journalism, it's abandoned something even simpler: basic decency. When a kind word for an immigrant hero triggers Trump more than, say, allegations of trafficking connections, it highlights a troubling hierarchy of values. If kindness itself is treated like a personal attack, What does that say about the priorities of those who defend it? This is bigger than Trump or Fox. It's about asking who benefits when the truth and decency are painted as weaknesses. Maybe it's time to turn off the spectacle and start focusing on what really matters: people, facts, and accountability over image-first theatrics.